So we'll start in any variation of child's pose that you would like today. So that can be with or without props. You can have knees wide or together. Hands can walk forward or can walk back. If you find child's pose is a little bit sticky for your knees, you can always add in some pillows underneath your knees or a block under your seat. And if it's your shoulders, you can always take pillows or a bolster underneath your chest and belly. So today's practice is inspired by the way in which we can be in both effort and surrender. So as we move through this practice, it might start off with maybe a little bit more effort of waking up our bodies, of bringing ourselves into poses, but eventually getting into the space where we can just simply be. So there's a little bit of effort to hold that space. And then there's also a lack of effort where we just simply get to breathe. And so this is really inspired by one of my favorite quotes by Joel Kramer. And he says that yoga is a dance between control and surrender, between pushing and letting go, and when to push and when to let go becomes part of the creative process, part of the open-ended exploration of your being. Notice how your breath is that dance between the effort of the inhale and the surrender of the exhale. So we're just going to take a little bit more of this movement of the breath now into the body. So as you inhale, really reach through your fingertips and sink your hips towards your heels. And then as you exhale, just let your body rest heavier. Let's take 2 more breaths just like that. So inhale, maybe even gripping into your fingertips, elongating your spine. And then exhale to just soften completely, let that go. 1 more breath, just like that. Slowly walk your hands in towards your body. Pick your hips up away from your heels so that you land into tabletop. Okay. Just gently sway your hips side to side, almost like an animal wagging its tail. You can always play with dropping your hips more forward or more back as you just move left and right. Maybe even look over the opposite shoulder. And come all the way back through center and start to turn your fingertips to face your knees. Okay, so turning out to the sides of your mat and then pointing the opposite direction than you normally would have them. As you inhale, drop your belly down, guide your heart forward. And then as you exhale, curl and round through the spine. Optional, you can always sit your hips back towards your heels and lift your palms away from the earth. Okay, but keeping that rounded spine. Inhale, breath, plant into your palms, into this cow shape. And exhale, curl into cat shape, optional to sit your hips back. And just move forward and back a couple of times. Adding in that extra little bit of opening for the fronts of the wrists and forearms. So a bit of effort to just get moving maybe this morning, but you allow yourself to find the surrender, the flow of movement. The next time that you come through center, one at a time, start to turn your fingertips to point forward. Melting heart pose, walk your fingertips away from your body until you land onto your forearms. Keep your hips lifted above your heels, hips lifted above your knees. Optional to keep your hands planted flat or take your palms together and float your hands up and over top of your head. Hollow out through your armpits. Allow your inhale breath to expand, to break through any barriers of resistance. And the exhale to soften you, simply allowing yourself to be within this shape. If your hands are lifted overhead, gently release your hands back down and walk them in towards your body, meeting back in tabletop. Make sure your feet and knees are hip width distance, then tuck your toes under. Walk your hands back so your hips are all the way towards your heels. And then just slowly play with picking up your knees and sending your heels towards the ground. You're just gonna rock forward and back. If you need more space with this, you might have to pick up the hips slightly, come more into a hovering tabletop, but really looking for that opening into the Achilles. So right above the heel, kind of connecting your calf to your heel. Let's do that one more time. And this one's gonna look a little bit different. Once you start to send your heels to the ground, press into your hands, pick up your hips and forward fold. So you can always take your feet wider if you'd like. Hands can just dangle, or you might reach for opposite elbows and hook your wrists. Check in with the direction of your gaze. You want your gaze to be back behind you so that the back of your neck can be long, muscles soft and relaxed. And then notice the balance in this pose. So as you maybe shift side to side or forward or back, your legs have that effort to hold you upright. Make sure you don't fall over. But the upper body can completely let go. So always, always, always this beautiful balance between the two. Gently release the grip that you have with your fingertips. Bend deeply into your knees. This will help support your low back. And then let your hands slide up your body as you roll up to standing. Okay, draw your belly button into your spine, so core is engaged. And then allow your head to come up last. And roll your shoulders once or twice when you come to the top. Tadasana mountain pose. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. Catch a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Lengthen out through the spine with your next inhale. And then exhale, pour over to the right. Inhale, breath, lift back up through center. Exhale, once again, over to the right. Inhale, breath, lift back up through center. And exhale, last time, all the way over to the right. Inhale, breath, lift up through center. Switch your grip. And then exhale over to the left. Just flow with your breath 2 more times. So each inhale grows you taller, and each exhale pours you over. On your next inhale, you'll lift all the way up through center, and exhale, swan dive forward, release hands out to the left and to the right. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. And then exhale to fold. Pick up your toes, turn your toes out. Heels will stay as they are, but hip width distance. And then sink your hips all the way down to your heels. Okay, yogi squat. We're just here for a moment as a transition. Walk your hands to frame your right foot, and you're gonna end up turning both knees over to the right side of your mat. Okay, so your left toes will be tucked under, hips sit onto your left heel, right foot is rooted. Okay, fingertips to the ground or onto your thigh. And just gently lift the heart. So you're gonna get into the bottom of the feet and Achilles. Beautiful. Come back through yogi squat. So start to walk your hands forward and pick up your hips and then come all the way back through center. Okay, other side. Walk your hands over to the left. Turn and pivot so that your knees point to the left side of your mat. Hips onto your right heel and just guide your heart forward. And all the way back through yogi squat. Pick up your hips, turn your toes to the top of your mat, and then walk your fingertips all the way forward to high plank. So shoulders stack over top of your wrists. Always optional, lower onto your knees to take some of that weight out of the wrist joint. Maybe if you're feeling any tension in the low back that's pretty uncomfortable, just take the knees to the ground. Okay. Lift your kneecaps to engage your quads. And then press into the earth as though you're pushing it away. This will help to round out your shoulders. Beautiful. All right. Everyone will lower to their knees. And then take your heart to the ground. So your hips are going to stay high as you bend your elbows and then scoop forward. So just allow your heart to slide along your mat and tops of your feet to the earth, cobra. Gently peel your heart forward, reaching the crown of your head towards the top of your mat. And then exhale, release back down. Okay. Press into your hands, child's pose. Send your hips all the way back towards your heels. Even a little bit of length to the spine. Use your next inhale to peel up to tabletop, and then exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips, downward facing dog. Okay, let's do that a couple of times. So the first few times, again, might have a little bit of effort as you have to really think about your alignment and where your body is moving to. But eventually finding that kind of beautiful dance between the two. So as you inhale, ripple forward and then lowering your knees to your mat. Exhale, take your heart to your mat, hips lifted, and then inhale, slide forward. Take the weight out of your hands and rise your heart into a baby cobra. Exhale, breath. Send your hips back towards your heels, child's pose. Inhale will bring you back into downward facing dog. And exhale to just linger there for a moment. Okay, so let's take 2 more rounds of breath and movement. I'll just let you move at your own pace, knowing that you can always add in or take out depending on what works for your body. All right, so we're all going to meet in down dog after that last round. And then look forward, step your way to the top of your mat. Your feet hip width distance apart. Take an inhale breath to halfway lift and lengthen. And exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. Big full body stretch. Exhale, gather your hands to heart center. Inhale, breath, circle the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step your right toes back, lower your right knee down. Inhale, breath, sweep the arms overhead. And then when you exhale, reach for opposite elbow or forearm. Use your inhale to press into your front foot. Lift the sternum up, maybe even send the elbows back. And then exhale to just soften into the shoulders and the hips. And one more big, generous inhale. And then exhale, release your hands to frame your front foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, breath, draw your right toes to the sky, 3-legged dog. Bend into your right knee and then start to stack your hips. So you feel your side body peel open. Take a full breath in. Maybe you even rise the left heel. Exhale, step to the outside of your right hand. Okay. Use your inhale to twist open, right fingertips to the sky. Okay. If you want to get a little bit more into that right hip, you can always roll to the pinky side edges of your feet and play with a variation of lizard. On your exhale breath, you'll gently release your right hand down. Step your left foot outside of your left hand. Turn your toes out and then sink your hips down, yogi squat. Beautiful. Okay. Just find a little bit of movement here. So there's a gentle rock side to side. You can make this a little bit bigger if you'd like, picking up one heel at a time and adding a bit of a twist. Just be mindful of your knees. So not taking any movement that kind of makes any pulling or straining sensations. All right. Next time you come through setting, I'll release your hands down, pick up your hips and fold. Take an inhale breath to halfway lift and lengthen, and exhale to fold. Bend into your knees, inhale, sweep your arms all the way up, big, 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 big stretch. And exhale, soften your hands to center. Okay, inhale, effort, circle the arms, reach and grow taller, and then exhale to surrender, forward fold. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to plant your hands, step your left toes back, lower your left knee down. Use your inhale breath to rise up, and then exhale, reach for opposite elbow, even take the opposite grip so it feels a little bit stickier. As you inhale, press down in towards the earth. So you find a little bit of lift, forearms up to the sky. And then exhale, relax through your shoulders. Allow yourself to be. Okay, one more big inhale. Then exhale, release your hands to frame your front foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Big toes come together to touch. Inhale, left heel to the sky, bend into your left knee, and just play with stacking the hips. Doesn't have to be a big movement. On your inhale, maybe you rise high on that right heel. Exhale, step your left foot outside of your left hand, so you're a little bit wider. Root through your right palm, and as you inhale, twist. Left fingertips to the sky. Optional, you can always roll to the pinky side edge of both feet if that feels good for your hips and knees. And then as you exhale, take your left hand to the earth, turn and pivot back to the front of your mat, and step your right toes outside of your right hand. Sink your hips down, yogi squat. So toes will turn out, heels turn in. Okay, this time, 3 full breaths. Hands can come to heart center, onto the earth, or forearms onto thighs. Maybe you even just allow yourself to be in this moment of surrender. Gently, you'll release your hands all the way down to your mat. Pick up your hips, turn your toes to the front of your mat. You make sure you have a generous bend into your knees. You can always take your feet a little bit wider if the ground feels far. Plant your left hand onto your mat or left hand onto a block. As you inhale, straighten out only the right leg and twist to the right. So right fingertips either land to your low back or all the way up towards the sky. Maybe even bend deeper into your left knee. And as you exhale, fold through center, bend both knees. Inhale, straighten out your left leg, twist to the other side. And exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. And exhale to let that go. Bend into your knees. Inhale, rest through your arms all the way up. And exhale, hands through heart center. All right. Inhale, breath, circle the arms up. Exhale, sit into your chair. Okay, so you can have either feet apart, hip width distance, and then imagine you're squeezing a block between your knees, or big toes together and heels together. So yogi's choice. Just make sure when you look down, you can see all 10 toes and that the weight is into your heels. If you're like me in arms, this is way too much. Take your hands to your heart center so you can feel the effort of your thighs. But you're not taking that strain and tension into your jaw or your face. And let's see if you can hold here for 2 more breaths. Maybe offering a little bit more surrender. We tend to go full effort on this one. And as you exhale, forward fold, just drape your body, let that go. Plant your hands, step your right toes back, lower your right knee down. Inhale, come all the way up to monkey lunge. Exhale, take your hands to the earth, step back, high plank. So pick up your back knee, left toes meet your right. Okay, optional, take the same vinyasa variation you took earlier, lowering onto your knees, heart to the ground. Or as you inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, untuck the toes, tops of your feet to your mat, heart forward. And then exhale to downward facing dog. Hips lift high to the sky. Walk your big toes together to touch. Inhale, send your right heel high, bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. As you exhale, step outside of your right hand. Use your inhale breath, twist open. Right fingertips reach all the way up. Okay, this is where it's gonna change. Exhale, take your right hand to the inside of your front foot. Turn and pivot your back foot and twist the other side. So inhale, left hand comes all the way up. Exhale, start to press down through the feet. Take some of the weight out of your right fingertips, and on your next inhale, lift all the way up, warrior two. Okay, so maybe a little bit more effort in that transition. Once you land in warrior two, just check that your front knee lands over your ankle and that your front knee isn't falling in. So press more to the pinky side edge of that foot. Okay, beautiful. Flip your front palm to face up. And once again, we're gonna move into this effortless flow, hopefully. Okay. So inhale, breath, straighten out the front leg. Take your right hand all the way up to the sky. Left hand slides down your back leg. Okay. Exhale, breath, lift up through center, hands to the front and backs of your mat. Inhale, hinge at the hips, reach forward with your right fingertips, and then exhale into triangle. Right hand to the inside of your front leg. Okay. Inhale, breath, bend into your front knee, warrior two. Exhale, lift all the way up and back. Inhale, hinge forward, all the way to triangle. And exhale to soften. Okay, so just find your own flow. These are your poses. You can make this as complicated or simple as you'd like. You're gonna move through a warrior two. You'll reverse to your warrior. Hinge at the hips, reach forward for triangle. And then just allow yourself to land there for a breath. Don't worry so much on where the breath moves. Okay, it might work a different way for your body, but as long as you are simply breathing and moving, you're exactly where you need to be. Let's take one more round of this movement. And then the next time that you start to come up towards warrior two, you're bending into that front knee, windmill your hands down either side of your front foot. Twist open to the right again. So optional, keep your feet rooted, or you can roll to the pinky side edge of your feet and lower your left hip down. Okay. Gently come all the way back through center. And then step your left foot to the top of your mat, turn your toes out, heels turn in. Sink down to yogi squat, hands to heart center. Okay. 3 full breaths in stillness. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. And gently take your hands to your mat, pick up your hips and turn your toes to the front. Inhale to halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. And exhale, gather hands through heart center. You're coming back into chair, so feet hip width or big toes to touch, whatever feels right for your body. Use your inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, sit your hips back. Any variation in the arms is acceptable, as long as you can still feel the fluidity of your breath. Okay, so when we start to go into full effort, that's when our breath starts to catch, it shortens, it becomes difficult to breathe. Okay? So you'll know if you're in that balance, if your breath feels effortless. On your next exhale breath, you can gently release and fold over top of your thighs. Use your inhale breath to halfway lift and lengthen. And then exhale to plant your hands and step your left toes back, lower your left knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, monkey lunge. Exhale, take your hands to your mat, step back, high plank. All right, vinyasa of choice or always optional. Just pick up your hips and move back to down dog. Once you've landed into your downward facing dog, use your inhale breath, take your left heel high, bend into your left knee, stack into your hip. Exhale, left foot steps outside of your left hand. Use your inhale breath to twist open, left hand to the sky. Exhale, left hand down to the inside of your front foot. This is where it's changing. Turn and pivot your back foot, and then right hand reaches up. Okay. Really root through your feet. That effort's going to help to rise you effortlessly. So press down and then slowly allow your upper body to float up. Okay. Make sure you're pressing through the pinky side edge of your front foot. Arms still lengthened yet soft. And you're going to find your own flow with this. So don't worry if it doesn't perfectly match mine or my breath cues. Flipping into your front palm. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, straighten out that front leg and reach up. Inhale, breath to lift up through center, hinge of the hips to reach forward. And then exhale, triangle. Left hand down to the inside of your front leg, right hand up. Inhale, breath, bend into your front knee, warrior two. And then exhale to straighten out that front leg, reach back. Inhale, lift up through center, start to hinge at the hips. And then exhale to triangle. Okay. Follow your own flow. We're gonna do this for about 4 more rounds of breath and movement. And hopefully by the end, it almost starts to feel like you're moving through water. So there's that effort and stability of the legs. Okay. And then almost like your upper body is that water of a creek just rolling over top of the foundation of the rocks. All right. The next time that you move through warrior two, out of your triangle, you'll pause and then windmill your hands down to the inside of your front foot. Right hand stays rooted. Take that twist one more time. Left hand to the sky. Optional, roll to the pinky side edge of both feet. Exhale, take your left hand down, step to the top of your mat and meet into your yogi squat. Hips turn down, knees draw out. All right, this is where it's going to get a little bit different. I'm going to show you from this angle just so that you can see. Walk your hands over towards your right toe. So similar to what we did earlier, but this time you're going to pick up your hips, turn and pivot and land into basically a pyramid pose. Okay. If your hands don't quite meet the ground, take your fingertips onto blocks. So you can always take them onto your front shin. Lengthen out your spine. So right hip pulls back, left hip pulls forward. When you exhale, turn back to yogi squat. Sink your hips down. Fingertips can help guide you. Nice. And then inhale, pick up your hips, turn and pivot to the left. So all 10 toes to the left. Lengthen out your spine, like you're drawing your heart forward. Gaze is still down. And I come all the way back to yogi squat. Okay, let's do that one more time to each side. So use your inhale breath, pick up your hips, straighten out your legs. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. And then exhale to come all the way back through center. And then one more over to the left. And then come all the way back through to yogi squat. Press into your hands, pick up your hips and turn your toes to the top of your mat and then fold over top of your legs. Soft bend into your knees, draw your belly button into your spine, and then roll all the way up. And roll your shoulders as you come to the top of your mat. All right, palms face forward. Okay, heel toe your big toes together to touch. I find this a little bit easier for this shape. Inhale, breath reach arms all the way up. And then exhale, take your hands to heart center. Okay, gently gather your weight into your right foot. Pick up your left knee and then cross left ankle over your right thigh. So you're coming to standing figure four pose. Ideally, we want to start to sit the hips back. So if you're really struggling with balance here, go next to a wall, just take one hand onto the wall or something like a prop beside you, a table or a shelf. And then you're going to start to send your hips back and heart towards your front shin. Now hands can stay rooted to your chest. They can land onto your shin, or maybe even take your hands to the ground. All right, optional, you can even start to play with sinking your hips all the way down. Okay, working into toe stand. I'm still trying to master this one. So this might be where you end up with your bottom heel lifted. Okay. Maybe you have the hips a little bit higher, especially if that's a lot for your knees. So just here for a couple more breaths. See if you can land somewhere that you're comfortable to just breathe. And slowly, 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 you'll bring your hands all the way up through heart center and stand tall. Use your inhale to pick up your left knee. Exhale, step your left toes to the back of your mat, high lunge. Take an inhale, breath, lift arms all the way up. And then exhale, hands to your mat. Lower your left knee down, half splits. Untuck your back toes, send your hips back and pull your right toes up to the sky. Okay. If your hips are falling all the way back to your heel, just slide your right heel further forward so hips land over top of your back knee. Lengthen out through the spine. And then as you exhale, fold belly, then heart, then head. Inhale, breath, lengthen out through the spine. Exhale to fold. One more time, inhale, breath, lengthen. This is where you're gonna stay. Left hand can always come down onto a block if you just need a little bit more space. Start to twist to the right. So right hand comes all the way up to your hip or reaches up to the sky. You spiral your right inner thigh towards the left. That's gonna get into the outer edge of the right leg, into the muscles around the IT band. Okay, can you feel the effort in this shape, but then soften through the shoulders? All right, exhale, release your right hand down, bend back into your front knee, walking your hands forward, step back, optional vinyasa from high plank or ripple through the spine and meet into downward facing dog. So we'll all meet together wherever we are ready. Gently walk your big toes together to touch. Use your inhale breath, take your right heel high and bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. So we're gonna be on that same side. As you exhale, step your right foot through to the outside of your right hand. Okay, inhale, breath, twist open. We've been here before, right hand to the sky. Exhale, right hand comes down. See if you can use your full inhale to transition to warrior two. Turn and pivot your back foot and then windmill your arms up. Beautiful. Flip your front palm to face up. Press into your front foot and reach back, exalted warrior with a straightened leg. Hinge at the hips, start to pull forward all the way through to triangle. Beautiful. Inhale, breath, lift all the way back up through center. This is where it's gonna change a little bit. Take your hands to your heart. Start to peel your front toes off of your mat. So your right toes pull up, bend into your back knee, Skandasana. You might be able to take your hips all the way down with hands at heart center. If that feels like a lot for you, take your fingertips to the ground. Just start to lower your hips as much as is comfortable. Nice. Walk your left fingertips out or left forearm onto your thigh, and then use your inhale to twist open. Right hand all the way up to the sky. Okay. Maybe even a soft bend into that right elbow. Notice the sensation across your chest and heart center. We're coming all the way into half moon pose at the top of your mat. Okay. So gently release your right hand down. Walk your hands so that they frame your front foot. You're going to come back into a warrior two stance with your feet. Hands can come onto a block or a prop out in front of you, and then pick up your back heel. So left heel will be turned, or left toes to the side. You can really play with stacking left hip over top of right. Optional to hold there, or maybe start to stack your shoulders, left hand to your left hip, left fingertips to the sky. You keep a soft bend into that standing leg so you're not putting any pressure on the knee or locking it out. Beautiful. All right, warrior two, think about how you want to get there. So you're going to start to bend into your front knee, but then also let your body guide you. So effort of the body and maybe even a softening of the mind. Beautiful. Okay, straighten out your front leg again. Reach all the way up. Take that big full body stretch, right hand to the sky. Exhale to triangle one more time. Right hand comes down to the inside of your front foot. This is where it's going to change. Rotate your left hand to the inside of your front foot and turn and pivot onto your back toes. Reverse pyramid. So right hand will now come up towards that right hip or reach all the way up to the sky. If you're feeling extra spicy this morning, you might step your back foot up and shorten your stance. Maybe your left hand comes onto a prop and you pick up your back foot. So it's like your half moon, you're just twisting to the other side if your heel is lifted. If you're just with me here in reverse pyramid, squeeze your inner thighs together. Let's all take one more breath. And then as you exhale, gently releasing from your twist, step your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen, and exhale to fold. Bend into your knees, inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up, big full body stretch. Exhale, hands to heart center, Tadasana mountain pose. Humble your chin towards your chest. Optional, you can keep your hands at your heart, or you can take them down beside your body, whatever feels most comfortable. So just like we did in yogi squat, allowing yourself a few breaths just to settle. So often in this yoga practice, we end up pushing and pushing and pushing, and we forget to balance with these moments, to just let go, to rest the body, come back to our center. Whenever you're feeling ready, you can start to circle the arms again, take that big full body stretch, and then gather your hands to heart center. Heel toe your big toes together. Okay, this time, right knee is going to pick up and right ankle crosses your left thigh. So see if you can find concentration on a single point in front of your body, but then let the corners of your vision soften. Okay, so there's intense focus and then also surrender. If it felt okay on the other side, start to tip forward at the hips. Maybe hands come onto the earth. Maybe even play with taking your hips towards your heels. If you're working into toe stand, what that is eventually having your hands at heart center and just kind of balancing on this one foot. So not my pose, but that's okay. There's always some room for playfulness and just working into that. So wherever you're at, let's just play with about 2 more breaths. Whenever you finish out that second exhale, start to bring hands to heart center. See if you can rise up with control. Pick up your right knee and step all the way back to a high lunge. So when you inhale, you'll take your hands up to the sky, and then exhale, hands to the earth. Lower your right knee down and then take your hips back for half splits. Adjust as needed if you need to slide that heel forward or back. Okay, and then 3 breaths with movement. So as you inhale, press into your fingertips, guide your heart forward. As you exhale, fold, belly, then heart, then head. Inhale, breath to lengthen, and exhale to fold. One more breath, just like that. When you lengthen, this time you're holding. Root through your front heel and start to twist open to the left. So left hand to your hip or reaches all the way up. You'll notice this is very similar to your reverse pyramid or reverse half moon, but just a little bit more supported with the knee rooted. Beautiful. As you exhale, gently release your left hand down. Bend into your front knee, walking your hands forward. Meet into down dog however you'd like. So whether you add in a vinyasa or just step back, high plank to down dog. Take a couple of recovery breaths once you've landed there. Walk your big toes together to touch. Use your inhale, left heel to the hot sky, bend into your left knee, stack into your hip. As you exhale, step outside of your left hand. Add in a twist over to the left. So left fingertips scoop up. Exhale, left hand down. See if you can do this really gracefully, warrior two. Use your inhale to rise up. Beautiful. Okay. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior and straighten out your front leg. Okay. Triangle pose, kick your hips back, reach forward, left hand down to the inside of your shin or calf. Okay. Use your inhale breath, rise all the way up. This is where we're coming to Skandasana, hands to heart center. Peel up your left toes and at the same time bend into your back knee. Hands can always come down to help with this transition. Okay, so if knees are feeling unstable, just use your fingertips. Walk your right hand out and then use your left hand, reach all the way up. Maybe gaze follows your left fingertips. See if you can soften your collarbone away from your jaw. Half moon pose, gently release your left hand down. Walk along the edge of your mat until your hands start to frame your front foot, but your back toes are gonna stay pointed to the edge. So you're in a warrior two stance with your feet. Walk your hands a little bit further forward, and then with one lift, right heel will peel up. Okay. If you need to take a couple of steps closer in or just play with this transition again, you're welcome to. Both hands can stay rooted and you can just focus on the rolling open of that right hip, or right hand can come up towards your hip or the sky. Squeeze into your right glute. That's going to help you with alignment. So that's the effort, but then it'll also allow you to just be in a little bit more ease. All right, warrior two. Slowly start to transition there. See if you can find some gracefulness as you glide up. Okay. Flip your front palm to face up. Reverse your warrior again. Straighten up that front leg. Last little bit, triangle. Reach forward, kick your hips back. Okay. Working into reverse triangle or reverse half moon. Rotate your right hand to the ground and then turn and pivot onto your back foot. Okay, so you want to square your hips to the front. You might need to step your back foot up slightly. Right hand to the top corner of your mat. And then take your left hand up towards your left hip or up to the sky. Optional, you can stay here or walk your right hand a little bit further forward and play with reverse half moon, picking up your right heel. Okay? Or optional, stay with both feet rooted in your reverse pyramid. Draw inner thighs towards one another in both poses. It's going to help to square your hips. Focus into the lengthening around the IT band. All right, take one more breath. And then as you exhale, foot can plant, left hand to your mat, step to the top of your mat. Okay, take an inhale breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Just allow your body to drape for a minute. Hands can always hook in opposite elbows. So we have one more fun pose left. You're welcome to just stay in yogi squat if you're not feeling arm balancing this morning, otherwise working into crow. If you're a little bit worried about falling forward and you have a bolster or a couple of pillows, just place them at the top of your mat. Okay, so similar to what we found earlier, you're gonna walk your hands about a foot in front of your toes and start to bend into your knees and just take your hips to your heels. So remember when we were rocking forward and back, you can do that a couple of times and you'll notice how your arms, your knees almost brush inside of your arms, or if you turn your toes out, your knees are gonna brush outside of your arms. Okay, so you can just play with taking some of the weight into your hands, rock forward and back. Okay, if you want to play with a little bit more of crow, with your hands planted about a foot in front of your toes, you'll pick up your heels and then send your hips high. So that's gonna start to be able to stack your hips towards your shoulders. Two variations, some people like knees outside of arms and then you're squeezing into the backs of the arms, or knees on top of your triceps. So yogi's choice, but wherever you are, press with your arms into your legs and legs into your arms. You can play with picking up one toe at a time, almost like you're walking your crow, and then eventually maybe picking up both toes. Okay. So play with that for a couple of seconds. If you fall out, you can always come back in, heels lift high, hips will be higher than your knees. And then eventually, I'm just going to land back into yogi squat in the next few breaths if you're not already there. So that's one of those poses we tend to go full effort. And again, the most important part is just to simply breathe. All right. So gently from yogi squat, you'll make your way onto your seat. I like to walk hands back. Okay. And then extend your left leg out in front of you and cross your right ankle over top of your thigh. Okay, seated twist, you're always welcome to bend into your left knee. Okay, hook your left elbow around your right leg. So you inhale, lift up through to the crown of the head, and exhale, start to twist over to the right. Gaze might come over your right shoulder, or if you want to get into the right side of your neck, you can always tip your left ear to your left shoulder and just nuzzle your chest and chin up and down. Bring your gaze back up through center, and then just gently find a counter twist. You'll come all the way through center, hook your right arm to the inside of your right thigh, and just for one full breath, twist over to the left. This is where it's gonna get a little bit different. Turn back through center, take your right knee or your right leg that's crossed over, lean to your left, and you're gonna scoop your right foot back behind you. So variation of half hero's pose, or if your left knee is bent, it might look a little bit more like reclined deer. And then you can just play with walking your hands back. And you're looking for an opening into your right quadricep and hip flexors. So if this is too much for your knee, you can always play with taking knee further out to the side and then leaning to the left. Wherever you've landed, see if you can offer yourself some surrender. All the hard stuff is done. Walk your hands back in towards your body. Lean to your left hip so you can unhook your right leg and extend it out in front. Seated twist to the other side, bend into your left knee and cross your left foot over top of your right thigh. Hook your right elbow around your left shin to help guide your knee in towards your chest. Then you can start to twist over to the left side. Optional to bring your gaze wherever is comfortable, or if you want to open up sides of the neck, right ear to right shoulder, and just play with nestling your chin into your chest and up to the sky. Maybe you hear the sound of your breath in these slower moments. Just allow your breath to guide you towards softening. Level your gaze back through center. And then on your exhale, untwist. Find a counter twist. So inhale, breath, left hand to the inside of your leg, right fingertips reach back. Then come all the way back through center. Maybe reclined half heroes or deer. Pick up your left foot, lean towards your right hip so you can scoop your left foot either off to the side for reclined deer or more back behind you so you're on the top of the foot. Okay, so this will be more reclined heroes pose, the variation that I'm in, but just find some variation of this that allows you that release of the hips. If you haven't already and it's comfortable for you, close down your eyes. And gently walk your hands back up and towards your body. Lean to your right hip so you can scoop your left foot forward and in front. Bend into both knees and then gently roll yourself all the way down onto your back. Once you come onto your back, bring your heel or your knees in towards your chest and just gently rock side to side. Massaging out low back and maybe any stickiness that you're feeling there. Then you can gently release your feet to your mat. Okay. Cross your right knee over top of your left so that your thighs glue together. You can always scoop your hips slightly over to the right and just allow your knees to cross over to the left side of your mat. So this is twisted roots. Legs are kind of twisted like eagle, and then knees will just drop over to the opposite side. If that feels like too much, you can always straighten out the bottom leg or just untwist your legs and take a more traditional twist. Take about 5 slow breaths. Once again, just allowing yourself to simply land. These last couple of poses are meant to bring us into that effortlessness of Shavasana. Maybe just letting you release any tension you're still holding. You'll gently unravel your legs, untangle them as well, and then you can bring your hips back into the middle of your mat. Once again, knees can always come into your chest, or you're welcome to just wash knees left and right. So any movement in between sides. And when you're ready, you'll cross your left thigh over top of your right. Shift your hips over to the left side so that your knees can start to lower to the right. Add pillows underneath your thighs if there's a really big gap. Or just simply untangle your legs if this is feeling like a little bit too much to close off with. Remembering that we're trying to let go of that effort and almost just come undone at the edges. And gently, you can start to unwind back through center. You shift your hips into the middle of your mat and then take any final movement or poses that your body's craving. So whether that's hugging your knees in or happy baby, plow pose, Windshield wipering the knees. And just allow this movement to bring you towards Shavasana. If you'd like any warm clothing, socks, blanket, maybe your sweater, you're welcome to just take that so you can be as comfortable as possible in Shavasana. So Shavasana yoga was actually created to bring us into meditation. So Shavasana is like that sweet gift at the end of the yoga practice. Using effort, we burned off maybe any residual tension, frustration, emotional gripping, to just come to this place almost where we're free. So Shavasana is that place of meditation where we just simply get to watch our thoughts without having to engage. Our entire body can be relaxed and heavy. We step out of the doing and in to the being. I'll leave you here for just a couple of moments to enjoy this time with yourself. And then I'll bring you out so we can close off together. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana and just close up your practice on your back so you can take your time to move into the rest of your day. If you feel ready to move out of Shavasana, just gently start to move into your body. Wake up in the nicest way that you can gift your body to come into this day. If you are moving to seated, you'll eventually find your hands at heart center, but no rush. Honor the moments that challenge you, that ask you to show up, maybe when we'd rather not. But also be sure to give yourself plenty of moments of rest, compassion, and just stillness throughout your day. So maybe allowing these lessons of yoga to come off of the mat with us. So much love and gratitude from the bottom of my heart. Namaste. Have a beautiful rest of your week, and thank you for joining me.